Yes and no. I know if I'm actually interested in the lecture, I kind of take notes, but when I'm a bit disengaged, I don't. Yeah.
No.
Sometimes, yeah. Most of the time I do, but not all the time. It depends. It depends on what I'm doing. So yeah.
I handwrite some notes during lectures. Some people like to type them out, use their iPads. Sometimes in a really long lecture with a guest speaker, I'll set my iPhone to record, and then I can play it back in the car when I'm driving to Melbourne or something.
Yeah, I like to take notes on my laptop. I prefer that than writing it because I feel that way I've always got them. They won't get lost and I can add to them.
Yeah, so we have gaps in our lectures, so fill in the sentence. So that's really helpful, and because you've got to be listening, and extra notes, definitely just jotting some stuff down regardless if you think it's useful or not.
Yes, I do.
Not during a lecture. I usually, after the class and after the lecture, I do a short reflection on what the lecture was about, because I found in first year when I was doing it, I'd come back and go, what do these dot points mean? And now when I do a reflection, I can go, this teacher talked about this and this and this, and I remember it a lot better.
If I'm going to take notes, definitely pen and paper. Yeah, I think it's much easier.
No, I use my notebook. I think it's a lot easier for me, and it's multi-format, like your phone and your computer and everything like that.
Pen and paper. It's a lot easier because with tablet you have to take it around and you could smash it, or just pen and paper, I can just whip out the book and write it down and use it later.
I handwrite some notes during lectures. Some people like to type them out, use their iPads. Sometimes in a really long lecture with a guest speaker, I'll set my iPhone to record, and then I can play it back in the car when I'm driving to Melbourne or something.
Yeah, I like to take notes on my laptop. I prefer that than writing it because I feel that way I've always got them. They won't get lost and I can add to them.
Yeah, just use my laptop for it because everything's electronic these days. So
Pen and paper.
I use my tablet, mainly because everything's there. All my notes are there, all my work is on there. Everything's so much easier when it's all in the one place. Whereas if I had a book, I would have some things on a computer, I'd have some things in my book, and I'd quite often have 3 or 4 books and all these leaf paper. It's hard to find.
I use pen. Yeah, I find I could take my laptop in, but I find just writing it down, it kind of helps me a lot more to remember the things. Yeah.
Just make sure you take a lot. Write down as much as you possibly can. Don't skip out on anything. Draw diagrams if you need to.
Figure out what works for you, whether it's drawing like concept maps or just taking dot points. I think when you figure out what really works, it's a lot easier.
Dot points, the best way. You can get things down quickly and you can just look at it later.
Probably recording a lecture on your phone and then playing it back to you later. Probably going to the lectures first is a good start.
If possible, have the PowerPoint prior to the lecture so that you can have a read through and know what to expect, and then you can take down the key points from the lecture.
just listen to just keywords kind of thing. If she's talking, or if the lecturer's talking about something specific, just make sure you're listening out for those key kind of points.
The dot points, try and do them into dot points if they're not. If they are dot points, just sort of, summarise them.
Be concise, don't faff about. Just have what you need in there. Lecturers like to fluff up their stories, just get the main points out of it and state those.
Don't write everything that's on the lecture, pretty obvious one. Ensure usually the lecturer's got a bit of a tip about something that might be confusing, so you kind of write that down, I suppose.